tax exemption, which can be used for maximum 10 years, will not be abolished.
So Philippe, I understand because of some political pressure from the European Union and the OECD, Switzerland is currently undergoing a revamp of its corporate tax system. So does that mean people will no longer be able to receive tax exemptions?
It is true that we are in the middle of a tax reform. It is called the third corporate tax reform. But actually the goal is to be in agreement with the international tax practices. But actually the tax exemption, which can be used for maximum 10 years, will not be abolished. What will be abolished is the special tax regime we have in Switzerland, and we have 5 of them, and those will be abolished probably in 2018-19. But I think that we don't know the detail of this tax reform yet. But whatever the details, whatever the result, we will have a very competitive tax system in Switzerland for a very simple reason. Is that our government has low cost. We have a low-cost government, so we can afford to have low taxes. But
why is the EU and the OECD not made Switzerland abolish tax exemptions?
Because most countries in the world propose tax exemptions. So those countries cannot ask Switzerland to abolish tax exemption because they do it themselves.
So regardless of the fact that many countries do offer tax exemptions, do you think they're just an unacceptable distortion of fair competition in a country?
You see, I think that tax exemption is a good instrument provided it is used wisely and without exaggeration. Let me take an example. Let's suppose that you own a fitness club, and then you see Mr. Clooney or Miss Universe asking information about how much it costs to become a member. It makes a lot of business sense to tell them, do you know, for you, for 10 years, you pay nothing. Because you know that Mr. Clooney or Miss Universe is a member, you will have so many new members joining your club. So tax exemption is the same. It makes sense provided it is used wisely and without exaggeration.
So is it right to assume that tax exemptions are a very powerful tool used in Switzerland to attract new foreign companies?
I think those tools are used. They will continue to be used. But we also have to mention that tax exemption is not only to attract new foreign companies, it is also used to incentivize new projects of company of Swiss or foreign origin that are already in Switzerland.
Okay, so is it true that sort of foreign companies are sort of shopping around, not just in Switzerland, in other countries and also within the cantons of Switzerland to try and get the best tax deal?
Yes, it is true, it happens. And especially if the company feel that they will get a tax exemption and because they add a lot of value. But I think what is important to mention is that, in my view, the most important element to choose a location to invest should never be taxation. It should be the real business element, like the presence of clients, suppliers, universities, good employees. This is much more important than taxation.
So let's assume a global company has received 100% tax exemption for 10 years for a new company in Switzerland. Can this global company shift all of its worldwide profit to Switzerland, where it won't receive any tax exemptions for those 10 years?
You know, in order to have taxable profit in Switzerland, you need to have substance in Switzerland. And to have substance, you need to have employees, if possible, high-level employees. You need to have assets in Switzerland, like intellectual property, and you need to manage many risks from Switzerland. And the exact amount of profit you can have in Switzerland is defined by the OECD through the transfer prices rules. And then I know there are loopholes, and we have heard that some companies like Google and so on, they manage to shift a lot of profit in places where you have very low taxes. But those legal loopholes are sort of being less and less. And there is a major project which has been launched by the G20 and the OECD. It is called BEPS, It's to avoid base erosion on profit shifting to low tax jurisdictions.
Okay, so Philippe, just tell us practically, what is the best way for a company to receive tax exemptions?
The best way to get a tax exemption in Switzerland is to have a solid business purpose, to make a solid business plan which highlights the advantages for the host country, the host city, and then to present this business plan to the authorities, the tax authorities. There are also political elements, because normally the last decision are taken by politicians. So those political elements have to be taken into account.
Philippe, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us today. Pleasure like always.
Thank you to you.
That's all from myself today. I'm Philippe Monnier. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV.